Here we go. Can I get some water? I think I'm live, guys. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. And today's lesson is about virtual assistants and 30 tasks that you could delegate to virtual assistants to make at least $100,000 per VA. Okay? And what is a VA? A virtual assistant. All right, let me pull the curtains back and get started, gang. Now, before I tell you all the things that you can do, it doesn't matter if you're a realtor, if you're a real estate investor, I want to first kind of sell you on a virtual assistant because it's so powerful to have a virtual assistant. You're able to hire very, very, very smart people in the Philippines, in India, in China, in Pakistan, and in Russia, so many different places, okay? And these people, ladies and gentlemen, will have speak good English, they'll have a college degree, they'll have master's degree, they'll have PhDs. Some of them will even have multiple PhDs or multiple master's degree or bachelor's degree. So in one sense, you're hiring the best of the best cream of the crop for your business. And the great news is you're only paying, to start off with. You can do what I do in my first month of trial when I hired them. I started them off at 120. I started them off at 120 to $150 a month, and what I'm going to get for that is them working 40 hours a week for me, 5 days a week, for the whole month. So believe it or not, there's people out there that have higher degrees, more smart than you and me, and they're willing to work for $150 a month. Okay, so if you can't see what the power of this is, then you need to just get out of here. Okay, but if you understand what I'm talking about, how you can get a virtual assistant to do some of these 30 tasks for you, and you can see a way to make money, then stay tuned. So let's pull the curtains back and go one by one. What are some of these job tasks that you can have a VA do? Now, in the real estate business, there's 3 propellers, okay? Lead generation, conversion, and you can also exit strategy. Today I'm going to talk about mostly lead generation and how to get these VAs to help you with lead generation. All right. I would highly recommend what I do in my business is I use VAs for lead generation. I'm going to go through 30 things that they do in my business that you could implement in your business. Okay. The very first thing that I implement is I have my VAs doing SMS marketing. Now, I explained that there's 2 types of VAs. We have the voice VAs, front-end VAs, and the non-voice VAs, the back-end VAs. So for a back-end VA, somebody that doesn't use their voice, I use them for SMS marketing. And the way that would work is that their only job is to sit in front of a computer, in front of my dialer, and and target and market to potential buyers that I want to buy their houses with, or in this case, sellers. Okay, and that's all they will do. But then it's not just that simple. SMS marketing breaks down to multiple categories, guys. All right, so let me break it down for you real quick so I don't miss anything. I wrote a couple of notes. You could have them SMS the county clerk's office, guys. What do I mean by that? In the county clerk's office, you could find divorces, so they could MSS that. You could find evictions. You could SMS those. You can find you could SMS expires, people that try to sell their homes and they couldn't. You could SMS people that try to sell their home, what's called FSBOs. Okay, and I'll talk about a little bit later how to get those data with back end VAs. Okay. So when I say SMS marketing, it's just not like one type of marketing. Is I hired that VAs and all they do is SMS marketing, and there's multiple segmented pool of sellers that I go after. I don't just, get on top of the roof and shout, "Do you want to buy houses?" As I said before, if your ad says, "We buy houses" or "I buy houses," you might as well replace it by saying, "Hey, I could wipe my own ass." So I don't do that. I don't stand on top of the roof and say, "Hey, I buy houses." What I do is I zoom in. I use the sniper rifle approach, and I know who my audience segment is, and I use SMS marketing to hit each one of those, from anywhere from the newspapers to the rental section to, like I said, expires, divorces, code violations, absentee homeowners, and so forth. Okay, so that's one thing that I do. And in this task, if you want to, let's say, hit all these different pools, then you would need more than one VA, guys. You would need like multiple VAs to do that. Okay, not only do you need somebody to do the SMS, but you need somebody to actually extract the data. Now that brings me to the second job a back-end VA can do, a VA that doesn't use their voice. You could have them do the extraction for your other team that's back-end, that's doing the SMS. So what I did in my business, I had what I call data extractors and I had SMS senders, and they're both what I call back-end workers. The data, I didn't mix them. I didn't just have one to do data extracting and then they do this, because what happens is like Henry Ford talked about, you want to have an assembly line, okay? You want to have this one person doing this one task over and over and over and over and over, so they become a master at it, okay? And then you want the other guy or other girl doing SMS, so they're just like, and they're just getting so fast at it. Where if you had them do this and this, they would get confused. There'll be a lot of time lost, and efficiency is not as good. Where if you take the back-end VAs and run it to assembly line type of idea, where you have somebody do the data extracting, somebody do the SMS, it works like a machine. So for these guys that did the SMS, I need a data extractor to get the data. And so some of the stuff that they could go get the data from would be, again, the courthouses. I would have them go to courthouses and pull the foreclosure, pull the evictions, pull the courthouse violations. Guys, you can even pull people that have gone to jail. If the people got arrested, they may need money to get bailed out or things of that nature. Okay, so you can get anything you want from that. I would also have my data extractors go out to, for example, online classifieds like Backpages, Craigslist, and extract data. For example, the rental section. For example, the for sale section, etc. Same thing with newspapers. I would have them go on the newspapers, the online newspapers, Dallas Morning News, Denver News, wherever you're at, on the major news, and look for the sell and for the rent, and extract that data out and put it into an Excel sheet. Okay, so my data extractors will go to different pools, and it would take all day. It wouldn't be like a simple thing. It would take all day, and they would extract the data, and then they would just pass it along to my back-end SMS marketers, and their only job was just to fire it away, guys. Okay, so that's how you have a team going back and forth if you choose to go that route. So the second thing data extractors can do is, the second a VA can do is data extracting. All right. Now, earlier I talked about cold calling. I haven't talked about cold calling. I talked about SMS. Okay. The next idea is cold calling. So far I talked about SMS. I talked about data extracting. I talked about cold calling. Now, this is a very, very lucrative, profitable business. Having VAs go out there and do your cold calling for you. And what happens is you're just having them dig the shovel, dude. Dig the shovel, right? Dig the dirt. and bring you a pan of like gold nuggets, and your job or somebody above you, your manager's job, is to filter out and find the gold nuggets, however you have it structured in your business, guys, okay? And so these cold callers, who can you have them call? Well, you're going to have them call the same exact database that the data extractor pulled off. So again, you're going to have the cold callers call the same exact database that your back-end data extractors collected. So one of the great things about having a data extractor VA is that they get that information and they can give it that to two VAs. They can give it out to the text messaging marketing team, and they could also give it to the cold calling team, okay? So that's why it's great to have an extractor, because they go, let's say, on all the newspapers and get the houses for sale or houses for rent, and you have that data forever, and then you give it to both of your teams and they go attack it. Believe it or not, guys, some people just don't answer their phones, okay? They just don't, and they respond better to text messaging. Other people respond better to phones. Other people respond better to emails. So that's why I have a thing called 6-6 for success. And what that says is you have to reach a potential person a minimum of 6 times. A minimum, dude, okay, at 6 times. You have to reach them in 6 different medias. Like, for example, you call them one time, you send them a letter, you send them a postcard, you send them emails, you send them a text. You're getting the idea, okay? And so you got to contact them 6 times. You have to reach them in 6 different types of medias, and then you're going to have success with the $sign, okay? Which means that you're going to actually harvest the deal. So going back to the story of the cold callers, you can have these cold callers hitting the pool of your data extractors. And so my cold callers would be calling expires, they'll be calling foreclosures, they'll be calling code violations, absentee business owners, evictions, divorces, people that have gone to jail, and they wouldn't have to spend any time to go get the data because I already have somebody in place that did that, okay? So as you can see, you can't just have one cold caller and then you expect them to call all these people, okay? It's not going to work. If you want to call, let's say, multiple pools of leads, you're going to need to have multiple VAs, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And this is why it's so important that you use my VA hiring and filtering system, because it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time for you to put into these VAs and train them. And so you don't want a VA that's going to work for you for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, because it takes at least 6 weeks to train a VA for them to do a complex task as cold calling, ladies and gentlemen. Data entry work is easy, but cold calling, where you have to talk to people and learn their culture and, learn how to sell and, get information. I mean, that takes skills, okay? So that's why you need such a great filtering system whenever you're hiring VAs. And like I talked about in my last video, if you're going to, let's say, Odesk, Freelancer, Elancer, you're not going to get the right type of people majority of times because their mind shift has changed. The people on those sites, they're in the S quadrant now, the cash flow quadrant of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where you have the E, S, B, I. And these people are not in the E quadrant anymore, the ones on Freelancer, Elancer, and they're in the S quadrant, and now they're thinking about, like, let me take as many jobs as possible, let me make as much money as possible, let me get a couple of people to come help me. And what happens is they're more into growing their business instead of servicing the people, because they're just new out of the gate. They don't understand customer service and giving the best quality that's going to give you the biggest bang for your money, unfortunately. And so what's going to happen is you're going to spend a lot of time and energy training these people, and they're going to fall off. And in cold calling, it's going to take, like I said, 6 weeks of training somebody and hoping they're not going to fucking quit on you. Okay? Hoping they're not going to quit on you. So Now, I talked about some of the things that a VA can do for you to generate leads. We talked about SMS marketing, but we didn't just talk about SMS. We talked about all the different types of pools that they could market, and you need at least multiple VAs. We talked about data extracting, and we talked about all the different type of pools that are segmented to specific motivated sellers that you could have them get the data for you to give it out to your other VAs. We talked about cold calling sellers, guys, okay? Now, other things VAs can do for you guys. VAs can help you do a lot of online marketing. What do I mean by that? For example, back when I had my companies going, I had 3 VAs that just did Facebook marketing for each of my companies because it took time and energy. And the plan that we use is called my ultimate Facebook marketing, which is totally for free. And I had very ingenious ideas that we implement to build rapport through Facebook and to get significant amount of success from referrals to people calling me and wanting to sell me their homes, to people giving me moving business, brokers or real estate brokers want to join our brokerage firm. Everything you could imagine. People pay me for coaching, etc. Guys, I'm not actually implementing them right now. But if you go back, you can see 6, 7, 8 months ago that we were heavily. Okay, so you could have these VAs job tasks to do online marketing, for example, on Facebook. Now, Facebook is very, very powerful, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Instagram is very, very powerful. YouTube is very, very powerful, okay? So some of the things that they can do in online marketing would be, for example, get on Facebook and implement my ultimate Facebook marketing plan. If you don't have it, invest the $200. I guarantee you it's going to make you 10,000 times more than that if you implement it. It's going to take some time. That's why you should hire a VA to do it, okay? The other thing I would have them do is I would have them go to, for example, forums. I would have them go to forums and comment there. Not spam, but like comment, okay? Help out, add value, okay? I would have them go and post on online classifieds like Craigslist, Backpages, Green Pages, and whatever else you guys can find, okay? I would have them post in, online classified mobile apps like, 5 Miles or OfferUp, okay? Other things they could do and did was back-end SEO work. Like, for example, they built links. They would contact people that had good websites and say, hey, you want to exchange links with us, okay? They would help out with, submitting the site to, other search engines or other websites that we thought that it would help us, okay? So they would do back-end SEO work. Other stuff you can have VAs do for online marketing is, for example, they could do your live chat. For my doctor move, anybody came to our website, there was somebody there to talk to them, and the VAs took total control of that. For the online marketing, another thing VAs can do is they could take total control of, your email campaign. Like you write up the emails and they put it, and they put it into the, let's say, Ahrefs or MailChimp, and they do the follow-up series, or they do the broadcast, and so you just tell them, hey, today we're going to do this, or hey, go do that, okay? They can take care of all of that for you guys. All right, so on the online marketing, they could do not only to find buyers from you, but they could also help you find sellers, because basically I just talked about a lot of sellers, but whatever we were doing before, we could also do for the buyers. For example, when we do cold calling, we could cold call for buyers, okay? Like, let's say I have an owner financing deal, and I would have my VAs get on Craigslist or go on my have my VAs go on my past leads that people wanted owner financing, and give them a call and say, look, we have this house in Dallas. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and we want $10,000 for it. Here's a virtual tour, and answer any questions they have, okay? So when I say cold calling, or when I say text marketing, you can go both ways. One way is the sellers, the other way is the